It absolutely amazes me how people use virtual assistants. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today here on the Build Your Team show. I am your host, Atiba, and we talk all about how you can build the perfect team for your business. That's what we're here for. Okay, so let's dive right in. And we're going to be talking about this question here of the different types of uses for a virtual assistant specifically. Okay, and people have done a lot with VAs. I know somebody who actually uses VAs for product modeling. Right. So he finds people who can model his products and he sends it to them and they turn on a camera and they do it. Yeah, that's a virtual assistant. Yep, that's a virtual assistant. Also know people who use virtual assistants to answer their phones. So there are tons of different things. And here's the key. When you're thinking about virtual assistants and how can they be used and are they useful inside of your business, you want to consider what are the things that happen in my company that don't require someone to physically be here, wherever here is for you. Okay? Anything that does not physically require them to be here. That's number one. And then you want to consider after that, okay, now what's something that I can systemize? So if they don't have to be here and I can systemize and say, this is how I want it done, then that is a task, my friend, that you can hire a virtual assistant for. That's something that you can use a virtual assistant for. So let's take your website, for example. If you need to do maintenance on your website, let's say there are people who, you have a blog and people leave comments and you need somebody to moderate your comments, you can hire a virtual assistant for that. Let's say you need to do website maintenance on your website. You can hire a virtual assistant to do that. Let's say you want to be a speaker and you want to get on podcasts or get on stages. Well, guess what? You can hire a virtual assistant to find you the best places to speak or podcasts to be on. And if you can systemize it enough, they can even start the outreach for you and begin the conversation for you. But the key is you have to be able to help them systemize it to know exactly what needs to be done and what you want done. Not what they want done, but what you want done. That's the key. Okay. So there are tons and tons of uses. Now, I know a lot of people think virtual assistant, they think office work and they think, the grunt work of doing things and in terms of the admin work. Yes. Can virtual assistants do that? Absolutely. Can they, like for example, I've got a task right now that I've got to give to one of my assistants, and the task is to take a list of zip codes and figure out what cities those zip codes belong to. Sure. They can do a research admin task like that. Absolutely. Absolutely. They can also do your accounting and your bookkeeping. And depending on their background, even file your taxes. Okay? They're legal VAs. So you may need to write a contract or you may need a contract reviewed. They're legal VAs. They're all sorts of VAs. So again, what are the criteria? Number one, this is a task that you don't physically have to be here. And then number two, I can systemize it and tell you exactly what I'm looking for to have done. If you have those two things, that is something that you can use a virtual assistant for. So now, I want you to just close your eyes with me. Close your eyes and just imagine away. What are some of those things? Now, sometimes you may have to challenge yourself a little bit because like the product modeling, sometimes you feel like, well, no, the model needs to be here because just mail them the item. Mail it to them. So you may have to challenge your thinking a little bit, okay, and just push yourself a little bit and say, okay, is there a way that this can be done where it does not have to be here physically? Okay? Now, If you're running a hot dog stand, you cannot hire a virtual assistant to sell hot dogs for you because they've got to be here physically. Duh. Right? However, you could hire a virtual assistant to do all of the ordering for your hot dog stand. Absolutely. They don't physically have to be here. All right, everybody. Hope this video was helpful and hope that you can see some new ways that you may be able to use a virtual assistant to help your business too. All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.